I have bought a metal bandsaw. I picked it up at my local hardware store Biltema here in Norway. Name and number is Metal Bandsaw MBS 1435. Wonder what MBS is short for. What if I... Give me a sec. Yep, just what I thought. A quick Google search revealed that you can find this exact bandsaw under a lot of different brands, names and numbers and colors. I found the orange one listed on Amazon and the dark red one on AliExpress. I would have felt more comfortable if it had been, what should I say, a real brand. Long-term support like access to spare parts is probably not going to happen. But as you understand, I bought it anyway. And the reason? The price. It cost 3,400 Norwegian kroner, and that is half the price or even less compared to professional brands. Let's take a quick look at some of the specifications before unboxing. I noticed that it was quite heavy, something I consider positive as it is an indication of being solid, sturdy. The other thing I noticed was the motor only being 400 watts. Professional brands deliver this typically with 800 to 1200 watts motors, so let's see how it will perform. Well, enough talk, let's go back to the garage. Let me then open the box and look what's inside. First, a user manual, then some kind of steel rod. Some styrofoam for protection. Ooh, here is the beauty. And here you got it. The unboxing is done and I've already done the assembly part. Let me go through the steps I've done. First of all, the assembly wasn't really much. It was just putting on these 4 rubber feet. Just snap them on. This steel rod that on top of the package actually is just for this way. I will not be using this now. It's just for what shall I say, if you're going to mass produce a lot of pieces with the same distance, you can have this as an offset, and then you slide in your piece and it stops where you have the distance here, and then you can just cut one and one and one, and each of your pieces will be the same. I will be using this when I create some pie cuts from a steel pipe later on. Very nice addition. So before I even started it, I have started it once, I went over all the bolts and nuts and made sure that no one was loose. Some were a bit loose, but seems okay, except for when I checked the motor. 4 bolts holding the motor, they were really loose. One of the bolts I could just turn them by hand, and the other ones really loose. So I took off the cover on the back here and hold a wrench on the backside. It's a lock nut, so it will probably not have fallen off, but I'm afraid it would be maybe a bit vibrations or wobbling because of this. So I tighten them. It's a rubber seal here between the motor and the chassis, so I didn't tighten it too hard, but wow, those needed tightening. The next thing, according to manual, is to make sure that the 0 point, to get a really 90-degree angle, you have this stop position here. You are supposed to check that everything is aligned. So I use this 90-degree angle stuff, put it here, clamped it down, and then I loosened this part here so I could turn it around like this, and I made sure that I was exactly at 90-degree angle when I was at the 0 point, and it was quite accurate, but I loosened everything and made sure that it's correct. Yeah, so that was more or less what I did. Yeah, another thing was this one. This is a stop pin. Let me. So, well, if you're going to carry it, you can lock it by pushing this in, and you can't. It's locked. Yeah. Secured, but there were no spring here, so this was because of vibrations it will go back and forth, and when you are doing your sewing you don't want this to go in there because then it will stop there and it will just be annoying. So I put on a spring there as a small improvement. Yeah, that's it. So far it seems sturdy, it seems solid, so let's test it. So what I've done now is I have a switch microphone. I usually have this on my collar. Now I have a microphone on the camera so you can get the impression of the noise as well. You are approximately 1.5 meters away from the saw. I have a steel pipe 1.5 millimeters thickness and 35 millimeters of diameter. So let's try cutting it. And there you got it. Seems to work pretty nice. Yeah. So let's try some thicker steel. And now we get a noise. I'm not sure what happened. I just cut this 3mm piece of metal and didn't have much pressure, just slowly went through it. But at the end I got this small noise, and listen now. Needs to be investigated. Okay, so the problem seems to be that these bearings that support the saw blade, it was dirty. It was full of very thick, dirty oil. I'm not sure if it was a saw blow or if these rollers have been oily, so I just cleaned them, and there were some metal pieces left on this from the sewing. So now I've cleaned them, and all of them. And it's run smooth again. So extra step there, take a look at these bearings and clean them. And also I cleaned the whole sewing blade, just going step by step, taking away all the dirty oil. So yeah, seems to work again. and the testing is done. It's really too soon for me to recommend it or not recommend it. I've just cut these few steel pieces, so I know nothing about the durability, but I've seen online people have this for a year and used it regularly, and they say it still works fine. So I'm hoping this is just perfect for me. It at least keeps up with the steel thickness I am mostly cutting. It's more or less only 1.5 to 2 millimeters, sometimes 3 millimeters, like this thickest steel I cut now, and that one's like butter, it no problem at all. I could notice the motor slow down a bit on the RPM when I put some pressure to it, so if you're not too much in a hurry, this is good enough. If you have heavier steel than that, let's say you have 5 millimeters to 1 centimeter steel bars and you're cutting a lot, maybe you should go for a bigger model, a more professional one that has 850 or 1000 or 1200 watts. They will cost the double or maybe the triple of this, at least what I have found. So, but maybe that is the right choice then for me, as cutting some pieces of steel maybe once a week, maybe a couple times per week, and mostly thin steel. This is perfect, and for the price point, thumbs up. Really liked it. Yeah, that's it, I guess. If you have any question, want me to check out anything else, just drop a comment below. See you again later. Bye bye.